including my family history of Alzheimer's disease. When my grandfather came down with the memory-stealing malady in 1965, my father, who was in medical school at the time, made the decision to specialize in neurology. He hoped to find a way of preventing Alzheimer's from taking root in his own skull, as well as the heads of his patients. His strategy failed. Dr. Beauregard Lee Bercaw died on April 2, 2012, at the age of 73, the exact same age at which his father had succumbed to the exact same disease. Based on my uncanny physical resemblance to my paternal lineage, I figure I'm probably the next Bercaw up to bat. My father actually planted the idea in my head before he got sick, telling me that both of us were destined for Alzheimer's disease. No ifs, ands, or buts, he said. We're getting it. Subconsciously, I probably came to Abu Dhabi to have more tangible things to fear. Psychiatrists call this a counterphobic attitude, seeking out fearful situations. But I thrive on overcoming challenges, the lingering results of 20 years as a competitive swimmer. Perhaps I also came here, on the verge of 50, to win out over something in me. If there is a way to get what I want, I'll find it. And what I want these days is alcohol, lots of it, to fill some sort of bottomless swimming pool inside of me. Buoyed by booze, I drift away from what scares me, and I feel powerful again. But getting a dose of liquid courage is a whole other challenge. Consuming, buying, or possessing alcohol is illegal for Muslims in Abu Dhabi. Non-Muslim expats can obtain booze in hotel bars or private clubs, or at a handful of liquor stores. I prefer the latter, despite the associated complexities. Every time, I have to explain to a cab driver how to get to Spinneys, the liquor store. The conversations are troublesome, considering our language, gender, and cultural differences. Cab drivers in Abu Dhabi are almost always male immigrant laborers from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and Uganda. They work long hours and reside in labor camps outside the city. My request to stop at Spinneys is as perplexing as it is rare. On one particular occasion, a driver couldn't resist asking about my purchases. "Are you drinking every day?" he asked in pretty good English, staring at me in his rearview mirror. He sipped from an imaginary bottle to be sure I understood. "Does your husband know? Is he home?" The way he looked at me was jarring, chilling. Was he envious that my religion let me drink? Did he want to take advantage of me if my husband wasn't home and I was intoxicated? Was he just curious about the ways of the West? "No," I lied, adding another. "We're having a party tonight to celebrate 18 years of marriage." He nodded, but continued to glare at me through the mirror. I turned away to watch the cars pass and to catch glimpses of the gulf between high-rises. But every time I looked back, his eyes were still on me. Was he watching the road at all? "Where are you from?" I asked, determined to never visit wherever it was. "Pakistan." "Which city?" "Islamabad." When we arrived at Spinneys, I paid the fare and sent him on his way. He was probably harmless, despite his curiosity about my husband's whereabouts and my boozing. But his question about every day unnerved me. I preferred silence when it came to my relationship with alcohol. The Spinneys windows are blackened with plastic bags and duct tape to keep the faithful from being tempted by the store's products. Inside, other expats fill their carts with booze. More often than not, I shop alongside Indian construction workers who are buying the cheapest liquor possible with what remains of their very modest income, after having sent the bulk of it back to their families on the subcontinent. My heart hurts for their difficult circumstances. So I grab a handful of mini-bar-sized vodka bottles at the checkout counter to assuage the added pain in my emotional shopping cart of sadness.